let's talk about something we've all felt at some point, being in a mental rut. You know, that awful feeling like you're just stuck in the mud. In this explainer, we're going to break down what that is, why it happens, and give you a really clear 5-step plan to pull yourself right out of it.
So, does this sound familiar? One day, everything's going great, you're making progress, you feel good, and then you wake up the next morning and poof, it's gone. The drive just isn't there, you feel completely and utterly stuck.
And it's not just about a lack of motivation, right? It's this deeper feeling of being totally directionless, where even the smallest task feels like a huge chore. But the worst part? It's that little voice in your head that gets super loud, beating you up for not being as productive as you think you should be.
What you're experiencing has a name. It's a mental rut. And boy, can it sneak up on you. It can hang around for days, maybe even weeks, making everything feel almost impossible.
Okay, so before we go any further, we have to make a really important distinction here. The tips we're about to share are for those temporary ruts. If you've been feeling this way for months or maybe even years, it could be a sign of depression. And in that case, it is absolutely essential that you talk to a doctor or a mental health professional.
So how do we start digging our way out? Well, our first step might sound kind of backwards, especially if you're an ambitious person. We're calling it the overachiever's paradox.
You see, a mental rut usually isn't a sign of laziness, it's actually the complete opposite. It's a biological signal, especially for those of us who set these huge expectations for ourselves. It's like your body is slamming on the emergency brake, screaming, hey, you are on a one-way trip to burnout and you need a break, like yesterday.
But how you take that break is everything. So many of us get trapped in what's called a guilt loop. You know, you're on the couch, but your brain is just torturing you with thoughts like, I should be working right now. That kind of rest just drains you even more. The trick is to shift to a productive reframe, where you really truly believe that resting isn't lazy, it's a strategic move to be more creative and energetic later.
So here it is, the big takeaway. You have to give your brain permission to actually relax. Telling yourself that taking a break is the most productive thing you can do right now, well, that's what lets you finally recharge so you can come back even stronger.
Okay, so you've given yourself permission to rest. Step 2 is all about recharging your physical health. You've got to think of your body as the foundation for getting your mind back on track.
When you're in a rut, the idea of a full workout can feel completely impossible, so don't even go there. Instead, just use the 2-minute rule. All you have to do is put on your shoes and go for a 2-minute walk. That's it. The goal isn't the workout, it's just to break that state of doing nothing. You'll probably find you want to go longer, but even if you don't, 2 minutes is a million times better than 0.
And this all goes back to that powerful connection between your mind and your body. Get this, a staggering 90% of your serotonin, that's the chemical that keeps your mood stable, is actually produced in your gut. There's a really good reason they call your gut your second brain.
So yeah, what you eat literally affects how you feel. Here's a super simple checklist to get started. Swap out the junk food and sugary drinks for a more balanced diet and plenty of water. And this is a big one, protect your sleep. Aim for that 7 to 9 hour sweet spot. Honestly, you'd be amazed at how often fixing your sleep can start to fix your whole mental state.
All right, so you're resting, you're refueling your body. Now for step 3, breaking out of the mental cage you're in. It's actually amazing how a simple change of scenery can completely flip your perspective.
I mean, think about it. We're animals. You ever see a tiger pacing back and forth in a zoo cage? It looks bored, sluggish, depressed. Why would we be any different? If you're stuck inside the same 4 walls day in and day out, you're basically in a cage. Your brain is craving new sights, sunshine, and fresh air.
When every single day looks identical, motivation just withers and dies. There's nothing new to get excited about. So you've got to spice things up. And it doesn't have to be some huge, life-altering change. Just take a different route to work. Try a new recipe. Pick up that hobby you've been curious about. All you need to do is inject a little novelty into your routine.
Novelty is a great spark, but if you want long-term fuel, you need direction. And that brings us to step 4, rediscovering the power of purpose. When you feel lost, having clear goals is like having a compass.
Just think about the difference between saying, I should run more, and saying, I'm training for a marathon. See the difference? The first one is just wishful thinking. The second one, that's a concrete goal. A specific goal turns those vague desires into real, purposeful action. Every single run now has a reason behind it.
So here's your action plan. Grab a piece of paper, seriously, and write down a few goals. They can be big or small. Then, for each one, just sketch out a simple plan. This one little act can transform a fuzzy wish into a powerful reason to get out of bed in the morning.
Okay, you've rested, you've refueled, and you've found your purpose again. So how do you actually get back to work without just falling right back into that same old rut? Our final step is all about making a gentle return. The best way to think about this is like a weightlifter who's recovering from an injury. They're not going to walk into the gym and immediately try to lift their personal best, right? They'd just get hurt all over again. They have to start with much lighter weights and slowly build back up. Well, after a mental rut, your mind needs that exact same gentle approach.
Don't try to jump straight back into a 10-hour workday. Just start small. If you're feeling total resistance to a task, just bring back that 2-minute rule we talked about. Commit to working on it for just 2 minutes. That tiny little step is often all it takes to break the resistance and start building momentum again.
As we wrap this up, I want you to really hold on to this thought. Even though it feels permanent right now, it isn't, I promise. Everybody goes through these periods. You are absolutely 100% not alone in this. You know, the great Bob Ross said it perfectly. You gotta have a little sadness so you know when the good times come. Our moods just ebb and flow. It's totally unrealistic to think we can feel amazing all the time. Maybe, right now, you're just waiting for the good times to come back around.
So just remember that. This feeling you have right now is temporary. This too shall pass.